In this session, I will demonstrate some of the features that are a little bit more advanced related to PowerPoint 2016. However, it is time-consuming, as you will see. So let's suppose that you have a PowerPoint very similar to this. You're using built-in blocks, basically, to explain a concept. So, for example, in education, you have the traditional form of education, then you have hybrid learning, then you have competency-based education, and then within those, then you have different methods of teaching, for example, synchronous or inquiry-based or project-based, and then action-based and challenge-based education. So the question would be, how can we build something very similar to this? And what's involved in designing something similar to this? And how is the animation and all this stuff designed? You can do it a variety of ways, but it's going to take a little time to design it. So I'm going to try to explain the concepts as to how this is designed or how it works. It's designed by using a bunch of methods. For example, the grouping and ungrouping of objects, the using of shapes, and using of text boxes, and then bundling the text boxes with shapes by using the group and ungroup option, and then also adjusting the animation within these objects. To insert the objects, so let's say we start with a Lego piece, and we can go here under Insert and then click on Online Pictures and then Lego. It's going to search Bing. And now at this point you can navigate here and pick something that would be in the angle that you would prefer. For example, this one or whatever the angle that you prefer here. And you can also use these tools here under the type. For example, you want something that is transparent background. In that way it's not going to overlap with other images and other components there. And now notice we have one piece of the Lego here. It's coming up with the design ideas here. That's for another time. We have covered that as well, and you can refer to the video on design ideas or the designer mode in PowerPoint. Now, the next thing that I would suggest that you do is you can click on it and right-click on it again, and then copy it, and then right-click somewhere else, and then paste it. So we are basically just making a copy of the exact image that we had in the first object here. Now, once we copy this, we can move it to the left here. Notice they kind of will change slightly. And then, at this point, notice that it's kind of overlapping with the first one. In this case, and the concept here is that you can actually then change this so that it goes to the back. You're moving, either bring this one to the front or send this to the back. And the way you do that is by using these tools here on the top where it says Format and it says Send Backward or Bring Forward. Or you can right click and choose Send to Back. Now notice when I chose Send to Back, it kind of lined up perfectly here and it's one after the other. You could do the same thing. Now we can copy this image here and then go somewhere else and then choose Paste. Now we can drag it and line it up here and then choose to send this back as well. Now notice they are all lined up. Copy it again and then go over here and then choose Paste. And now if we wanted to kind of build it in between here, notice we just stack it on top of it and it's properly set. Then copy it one more time and then paste it again. Now we're going to move it, let's say, over here, another one. And notice you can kind of stack it backwards a little bit or just leave it up a little bit, however it makes more sense for you. So as if it's not sitting properly there. Now copy it one more time and then paste it, and then notice you can stack on top of the next one. So that's how that part of it works. Now the other thing that you can do is you can select either one of those objects here and double click on them, and notice it's going to bring up the formatting tool here. Now under Format, in most cases you can go and change the color from here from the color tools. However, in this case, we'd have to go here under the picture because it's actually an image that we copied from the web, and we can go and pick a different color for that specific one. So notice this bottom one, now it's in black. And then if we wanted this next one here, in a different color, you go under color and then simply pick the orange color. Then over here, pick something else. And basically you're tweaking the color for each one of those options here. So now you're customizing these to what you want. Now the next thing that you might want to do is that you're building blocks for whatever the case might be. So earlier I had, for example, education there, or traditional education, then hybrid learning. Click on Insert and then choose a text box. So you want to put a text box right on top of this area right there. So you click here, traditional. Now notice the text there, it's kind of black on red. It's not going to be very easy to see, so we can change that to white. Now notice also that the text there does not properly line up. So what you might want to do is you might want to rotate it a little bit so it kind of matches the direction of their Lego piece. And then now in this case we want to put in there the word hybrid learning. The easiest would be click on the existing text box that you created earlier, copy it, Control C, and then simply paste it, Control V. Notice it's going to stack it on top of the existing one, and then drag it to the next area. In that way it's going to be exactly the same direction and the same angle. So now we can change this to hybrid. And the next option here, you can do that, the same thing in there, Control V again, paste it, and then drag it here, and do competency-based education. And then here you could have the different methods of learning. So let's say we have here, and whatever the point is that you're trying to make, so you're just copying and pasting against these text boxes. Now, if we go ahead and play this presentation, we have not applied any animation at this point, so everything is going to be presented all in one piece. So you basically need to select the text component here and the piece of the Lego, and then right-click on them, and you want to group them together. Then once you have grouped them together, you want to add animation by clicking here on Animation, and then choosing a certain type of animation that you want to apply to it. Now it's also advisable that I would advise that you enable here the animation pane as well. And then you have here the animation of those objects. So when displayed, they'll show up like this. Notice it's missing that part there. So now we want to do the grouping for the other ones as well. So the best, what I'd suggest is that you start from the top here and then you move down to the other items. Otherwise it will change the order how they appear here. So, and you can play with this option, whatever works best. It will depend on the design that you have, and if it's not slanted like this, then it will be much easier for you. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to group those two together. Then I'm going to go to the next one here. I'm going to click on these. I'm going to group these as well. Then I'm going to go to the next one here. I'm holding down the Control key, by the way, to select the right item here. When I'm selecting more than one, then I'm going to choose Group. Then I'm going to go to the next thing here, Competency. Hold down the Control key. Select the proper box for it, right click, choose group. Then I'm going to go to the next one here. So now that we have selected them, now we want to apply animation to them. So we click here under the animation. We make sure the animation pane has been enabled by clicking right here and then choose animation. And then we want that to appear. Then we click on the next section here. Make sure you're selecting the right one. Choose Add Animation. Then you go to the next one, Add Animation, and then you choose whichever order you want. So if you want to start from here, you click on this, choose Add Animation, choose to have it appear. Then you go to the next one, and then choose Add Animation. You can have it so it floats in, or it flies in, or whatever you want to do. And then the top one, you could have it utilize a specific animation as well. Now, if we were to play this, so remember we started from one piece of Lego, we added the text, we sorted them out, we brought it forward and backward and all that type of stuff. But now if we want to play this and present it, notice how they'll come up. So you have the text here first, then you click on the mouse, you can talk about the traditional way of education, then you can have the hybrid type of education, including online education, then you have competency-based education, and then let's say the different methods for synchronous, inquiry-based education, and then you're talking about traditional or whatever it is, that feedback or whatever this would be. If you need to change that to say something else, you could change it to simply just double click on it and say post in there something else. And now if you replay it, it has been updated. So that is how it works, by using an image, customizing it, adding text components to it, bundling them together using the group option, and then applying animation to each individual object. Now the other method, what you could utilize is, in some cases, it would be, for example, pieces of a puzzle. And we'll add a new slide here, and let's say you can do exactly the same thing for that as well. So you can go to the web here, you can insert from online pictures, and then you can do that with any other images as well. Just bring them back together, find them, locate them, and all that type of thing, and then add them together or bundle them together by grouping them. So here you can pick any of those pieces of the puzzle. You could theoretically use one of those, however you can't, unfortunately you cannot unbundle them. So you need to pick something that is a single piece, and then you want to add it. And let's say this one, you want to pick a piece that actually it will kind of fit, so this end will fit into that. So pick the proper piece there, click on insert, and now once you insert that piece, you want to resize it to the size that potentially you use it for your presentation. So now here is one. Now you can right click on it, choose copy, right click again, choose paste. Now notice we have two pieces of them, so you can take that and put it right next to each other, and then copy this and then paste it, copy, paste it, and then this one, what you could use is you can rotate it this way if you want, and then you can connect it with this piece over here. Then the next thing that you'd want to do is, let's say this one is sticking out, you can actually crop that by clicking on crop here on the top and simply cut that piece out. Click on crop again. Now is it perfect? Probably not, but it gives the idea. Now you could go in here to each one of those pieces and you can simply change the color. So double click on it, go under color, and then pick something else that you might want. Double click again. Let's say the pieces of online education. You want to have quality instruction, you have to have proper instructor training, you want to have compliance and such. So in this case what you do is you click on insert here, you want to do a text box and you say quality. You could tweak it so that it shows a certain way, and then you want to copy this. So basically you're changing the text here for each component, and then now you click on the text, click on the piece of the puzzle here, and then right click on it and choose. And you want to go here under the picture tools, and you can go under arrange and then choose to group them together. And you do the grouping basically for each one of them accordingly, and I'm holding down the control key, so you have to select more than one item to group them. You can go under arrange or group, or right click once you have selected them and group like we did earlier. Now they are grouped together, or you can select each one of them. Let's say you want to start with this first one, then you go here under animations, add an animation, appear, and that first one, it'll appear. The next one, you can choose a certain type of animation, fly in. The third one as well, and the fourth one. You can further customize the animation here for each one of them so that they float in for a certain direction. Now if we go to present this, we have the title of the slide. Then we are presenting that the online education should be based on quality and focus on quality, then focus on training, focus on compliance, and the focus on technology. And you can keep on building this to your liking. So this hopefully gives you an idea as to how to customize this further and how to add from one single object, build the concept. If you go here under Insert and you go under Shapes, you really could build this even further. Or let's say I want to have this as the background for this, and then you can choose, and then you could say that this is the platform or the online environment or whatever it may be that you're building this. And even this component, you can further customize it by either adding additional shapes and forms and such, and arrows and all. Simply go and reformat this by going under the format options here and customizing it further from here. So it's very powerful in how you can customize and tweak objects within the slides in your presentation to make a fancy presentation there for your audience. And of course, do not forget to use smart art as well, and that has been covered in another video in PowerPoint 2016. In this session, I'll demonstrate how to narrate a presentation in PowerPoint 2016. Narrating a PowerPoint is actually a helpful feature, particularly if you're a faculty member or a student who has to put together a presentation and you want to send the presentation to the audience either for later viewing or for somebody to present it on your behalf. And you can go through the slides and add your audio along with the presentation, and all they have to do is start presenting it and then the audio will play automatically. So here's how it works. You have your presentation, of course, and then you go under slideshow and then you click on record slideshow. Now you can record the animation and the timings and such that is already in the slides, and any of the narrations and ink and such, you can choose to record those as well. Click on start recording, and now anything that I say or I do, it's actually being captured. So now you'd normally speak like as if you were presenting it in class, and then press either the mouse button or the space bar on the keyboard and move to the next slide. And just basically explain all the components that you'd be explaining with the audience. And then just keep on going from slide to slide. Now the system will remember the timings or how long you stayed on each item here, and it will play them automatically. And just keep on going. Now, even in the cases where you have a video, it's going to capture that video as well. So you get the idea at this point. Now, in these cases, notice there's also a different set of tools here as well that you can utilize during your presentation. In the bottom here, there's this little pencil icon. So what you can do is click on that little pencil, choose pen, and then as you are speaking and narrating, you can actually write on the screen, even if you don't have a touch screen device that you're presenting with. And then basically, notice you go back here to the bottom again, and if you want to use the highlighter option, you can highlight stuff using the mouse, and all of this is being captured. Obviously, you can change the colors here, and if you want to erase stuff, you can simply choose the eraser option from the bottom. Even if you want to use a laser pointer option, laser pointer is basically by you pointing, it's going to capture this red dot as you move it on the screen. Now to move to the next slide, you just use the space bar on the keyboard or the arrows on your keyboard. To move to the standard option, so you're no longer writing on the screen, you can press the escape key on your keyboard, and then it will still keep on moving, just like as if you never touched the annotation feature in PowerPoint. So you'd go through the whole slideshow, and then it's done. Once it reaches the end, all of those recordings have been captured. So now what you can do is you can go ahead and present it, and now it will have all that audio automatically playing in the background. Start recording, and now anything that I say or I do, it's actually being captured. Class, either the mouse button or the space. So you can see that that played and it worked correctly. So now all the audio and all that we did and clicked and moved and animations and everything has been embedded into that PowerPoint. One key to remember here though is that the viewer on the other end, they need to, in order to listen to the audio. In this session I'm going to demonstrate how to customize the slide master in a presentation in PowerPoint 2016. The reason for customizing the slide master is because there are times where you have a presentation very similar to this, but you want to change or add a component like a logo or something. You want to add it on all slides in your presentation. And instead of you having to go through each one of the slides, you can change it in one location, and that logo or that component will be repeated across all the slides of the same kind in your presentation. So here's how you do it. So we can go to any of the slides here, it doesn't matter which one it is. And then we go here under View, and then notice there's an option here for Slide Master. So basically the way it works is that if you go and add something, it works basically on the type of slide that you're using. Right now this is called a content slide. You have the title for it, but then you have all these bullet levels and all this stuff. Let's say that I wanted to change the font here for this type of slide. Well, I could go under Home and then change it to a different type of font there. So let's say I wanted the Arial, and let's say I want it larger a little bit. So notice it's changing all of those levels, and you could even change the color. Now let's say that you wanted these bullets here to be a different color. Well, you could go and change them by choose bullets and numbering, and basically just tinker with those little options here. Click OK. Now any slides that use this type of layout, this kind of slide, I choose Close Slide Master View. Now notice that my bullets have changed to red on all of those, and also the type of font has changed as well across all the slides of the same kind. Now let's go back here under View and let's add a logo, for example. I copied the logo. You can just copy any image, just right click on it, choose copy from the web or wherever you're copying it from. But if I go here under View again and then go to Slide Master again, now I want to add the logo on any of those slides that have the title and the content here. Now I'll right click and choose Paste, and here's, let's say, my logo. And let's say I want this always to be in the bottom left. Now let's say that I have also other slides. I want it on all kinds of slides. Let's say if I want it on the title slide, I could put it in here. This is for the title style. Then this is for this type of layout. So I can right click, paste it there as well. Again, the idea here is that you're embedding, you're changing the slides of the same kind or the same layout. And you could keep on doing this if you needed to, and close it. Now all my slides, notice they have the logo in the bottom. You could also go back and customize this, make it as fancy as you want, and add, let's say, for all of those slides here, I want to add, let's say, a text field, insert here, text box, and I can go here on the bottom and say, tweak it how you want it, format the font accordingly. And then you can simply copy this and embed it into the other kinds of slides. Then go back under Slide Master tab, click on Close, and notice this will be displayed on all the slides. So it's a very powerful feature to save you time. In this brief video, I'll demonstrate how to use slideshow timings in PowerPoint 2016. There might be cases where you developed a PowerPoint presentation and you want the slides, whether it's pictures or the slides, to play automatically without any interaction. So the way you do that is by going through the slideshow here and then recording the timings for each slide. If you're going to utilize something like this, what I'd suggest is that you embed sound in that presentation as well. Just check the video on inserting audio and sound in your presentation. So in my case here, I have right here at the bottom of this, I have a sound file, and the playback for this has been configured so it runs automatically and it'll play across all the slides. Now to record the timings for it, or to rehearse the timings, what we can do is we can click here on Slideshow and then choose Rehearse Timings. Now notice it's playing, and now I'm going to keep it for so long on this slide. Now I go to the next slide, next, and notice it's recording the time up here, how many seconds it needs to stay on this slide. Then you press escape, or you go all the way through the slideshow, all the way to the end, and then it says the total time for this slide was 25 seconds. Do you want to save the new slide timings? You say yes, and then at any point that you want to play this, let's say in the future or whenever you want to do this, you can click on slideshow here. You can choose use timings, or you can choose set up a new slideshow. So the new slideshow, you would say, okay, it's presented full screen, loop continuously until somebody presses escape, and advance using timings automatically. So basically, whenever you're using timings, you also need to use the setup slideshow here. And then click OK. Click on From Beginning. That's what the presenter will do. And now all of this stuff, it's going to play automatically. Now notice it doesn't have any of the audio that you might have chosen to do. If you wanted audio, you'd have to use the record option. So that's how timing the slides and rehearsing the timings works in PowerPoint 2016. It's actually very similar to previous versions as well. In this session, I'm going to demonstrate how to utilize notes and embed those notes in individual slides in your presentations. These notes could be utilized by you when you're presenting by printing them out, or you could use what's called the presentation view in PowerPoint, where you can actually read those notes similar to like a teleprompter. So to insert notes, basically what you need to do is go into each slide here, and notice there is this option here in the bottom. It says Notes. Click on it, and you can move this further up as well if you want it, and then just type your content in there for your presentation. So if whatever your script is going to be for that particular slide, you enter those notes in each one of those slides. So you'd go to the next slide here and insert the content. Keep in mind also that notes can be formatted, so you can make the font bold and such, and make it certain keywords stand out by highlighting them and making them larger and all that type of thing. So now those notes, you can print them out, for example. So if you go here under File and then choose Print, notice that here under what you want to print, you want to choose here the Notes pages. Notice that it is going to be one slide per page, and the notes that you entered earlier under each slide, they're going to be displayed right below the actual slide. And then my other suggestion would be that when you're printing these, you don't need to choose color, you can just choose grayscale as well and then print them out. So that's one method to use the notes. The other method is when you go to present your presentation for real in front of the audience, you can also use what's called the presenter view. So to use a presenter view, you just make sure you have the presenter view enabled, and then here you can choose on which monitor it will be displayed. Your presentation will be displayed, or your notes will be displayed. So we make sure that we have the presenter view here, and then we choose from the beginning. Now at this point, notice this is what the audience will be seeing. It's the actual slide on their end, on the projector. And then this is a preview of the next slide that will come up. And then here are the notes that we had typed from before. Notice here in the bottom, you can actually click to make this text much larger, and it will be very similar to like having a teleprompter for you. And then you'd go ahead and present this, and notice that you also have this pen here where you can actually annotate as you are presenting to your audience. So you choose the pen option and you can annotate and also read your notes over here on the right hand side. So that's how the notes will be utilized in your presentation. They can be printed out, or you can utilize them in conjunction with the presenter view in PowerPoint 2016, which is now the default view for a presentation. If you're using Windows 7 or some other version and such, and you can't get the display to do the presenter view, you might have to use the Windows key and then P, the letter P, to choose to extend your desktop. So in that way, the external monitor becomes the presenter, or what the audience sees, and then your laptop or your device becomes the one with the notes. Now, if I could swap those, what the audience would see, so the audience would see this, and that's how this works. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use a presenter view in PowerPoint 2016. The presenter view is used very effectively in conjunction with notes in PowerPoint 2016 by utilizing notes in each slide. So for that portion of it, please refer to the inserting notes in presentation in PowerPoint 2016. So to utilize the presentation view, you'd need to go under the slideshow, and then you need to make sure that presenter view has been enabled or is checked. So once you have chosen that option, then you need to click on the option here from the beginning, and then notice that we have a view here of the current slide. We have a timer as to how long we have been working on this presentation. So if your presentation is going to be only 10 minutes, that's how you can keep track of the time. And then notice you have some other options here, including a pen for you to annotate on the actual slide. Then here are the controls for you to move from slide to slide. And then notice the notes are here on the right hand slide, right below the next slide. So you have a preview of what's coming up, and then you have your own notes. Now those notes, remember, you can also resize the font and make it readable or smaller or bigger as you need to make it more readable for your needs. So that's how pretty much the presenter view works in PowerPoint 2016. You can have basically the local computer where you're presenting from as similar to a teleprompter, and there's no need to refer to turn your back toward the audience to read whatever is in the slide. Now in some cases it might be that the computer is not displaying the presenter mode and such. Typically, PowerPoint 2016 is actually going to force the computer, and also, unfortunately, it leaves it in that condition. It leaves it as an extended desktop. So to enable or disable the extended desktop before the presentation or after the presentation, what you can do is you press Windows key and then P, and that will come up with the projector options, and you can choose to duplicate it, or you can choose to extend the display for using the presenter mode. But once you're done with the presenter mode, you need to press back Windows P to choose a duplicate mode. Here it would look like this, Windows key, that's extend for presenting, but if you want it mirrored for other functionality and other applications, you want to choose duplicate. So you want to duplicate the screen. In this video, I'll briefly cover how to use quick styles in PowerPoint 2016. This feature is available in previous versions as well, and it's quite helpful and saving you time to perform a specific formatting task. So what you can basically do is you can select, let's say we have this heading here, and by the way, this works only for this specific object that we are selecting. If you want to modify all the objects of the same kind, then just refer to the video on modifying the slide master. So in our case, we select the object, we go here under the Home tab, and then there is this option here under Quick Styles. Quick Styles is basically you can select a design for that little heading, and notice there's a quick live preview that you get by simply hovering on any of those options. So you select the option that you prefer here, and notice there are some new other presets as well, and these are new with the newest updates from PowerPoint or from Office 2016. So select what works for you, and just like that, it's done very easily and quickly. If you don't like that, you can simply go back to another one of those quick styles. And again, what you get on the quick styles, it might differ from theme to theme that you are utilizing in your presentation. So if you're trying to get the same kind of background or the same kind of content that or what you see here, and it doesn't work on your machine and your end there, then potentially the reason for that is because you're using a different design. Depends on the design that you have selected here under the design options. So that's how you use the quick styles in PowerPoint. In this session, I'll demonstrate how to create a photo album or a presentation using photos in PowerPoint 2016. There might be cases where you have a bunch of photos that you took from a specific trip or for a specific function, and now instead of you copying and pasting and resizing those photos in the presentation, what you can do is you can import all of those photos in one shot into PowerPoint and then add sound and add other features to it, such as timings and such, so it plays automatically into PowerPoint. The nice thing about it is that also it resizes the photos accordingly. So here's how you do it. You go here under the Insert tab, and then you go under Photo Album. Click on New Photo Album, and then you select the files that you want to put into that album. So we go here, and I think I have them under my desktop, and here are all the photos. So you can select them all. I'm just pressing Control A in this case, and then it lists them here. We can change the order if we want. We can choose here the layout, so it's going to fit them to the slide, or you can have them 2 pictures per slide, or however you determine that you want those. And then you can even apply a theme if you prefer to. You have to click on Browse and all that type of thing to apply the theme. And then all you have to do is simply click on Create, and it'll do the magic. Note that this created a new presentation here. Note that the pictures have been added at this point and perfectly resized. Now you could simply add PowerPoint. So you click on File here, and then you choose share, and then choose email. Of course, you could save it to the cloud if you're sharing it with OneDrive with other people, but you can also utilize here under email and send it as an attachment, or send it as a PDF as well, and it will do the conversion automatically. So it's basically going to convert it into PDF and then send it to your email. So if I choose send it as an attachment, you need to have Outlook, of course, in order for that to work. And then you simply put the address of the individual where you want to send it to, and simply press send. The other option here is to, under share, you click on email. As I mentioned earlier, you can send this as a PDF. It's going to publish it first into PDF, and then it's going to open the email application, attaching it as a PDF file. All you'd have to do is put the email address of the individual where you want to send it to, and then press send, and done. In this session, I'll demonstrate how to save your presentation in PDF format. There might be cases where you have to send your presentation to someone outside of your organization, and for various reasons you don't want to send it in PowerPoint format, but you want to send it in PDF. So here's how you do it. It's very simple. You click on File here, and then choose Export, and then choose Create PDF XPS Document. Then click on Create PDF XPS, and then notice it's going to be a file type PDF. It's going to save it, click on Publish, and this will be published in PDF format at this point. And there is the document. Of course, the animations will not be embedded, and of course the videos from YouTube will not be embedded either. And just send the PDF document to whoever requested it. In this brief video, I'll demonstrate how to narrate a PowerPoint very briefly, and then also how to save this PowerPoint as an MP4 and send it to other users there. There are times where you need to create a presentation and share it either with classmates or share it with your employees, or have it as a resource for anyone to go over it. Of course, you can narrate the PowerPoint and have the content embedded, and for that you can check the video on narrating a PowerPoint. But in most cases, it'll be more helpful where you narrate the PowerPoint and then you can save it as a video, as an MP4 video, and then the audience will be able to play it and view it on mobile devices, or you can post it on the web and share it a variety of ways. So there are a couple steps to do in this. First, of course, you have to create your presentation, and then you have to narrate it. Narrating it, you can see watch also the video on narrating a PowerPoint in more detail, but here is how it's done very briefly. You'd go here under the slideshow, and then you click on slideshow, and then you'd click on start recording. Notice it's going to capture all the timings and everything that you do here. So you're presenting your presentation as if you're in front of the audience, even though you're just in front of the microphone in front of your computer. So we'll record everything from beginning to end in your presentation, and then the next step will be to actually save this and convert this into an MP4 file. So you click on start recording, and then at this point you'll just go over the PowerPoint just like you'd go in class. Now this is the presentation mode that you're seeing here. However, typically it may be slightly different. You may just see this part of a PowerPoint, but you're going to go from one slide to the other slide, and then the system is recording whatever you do and whatever you say at this stage in PowerPoint. It's going to play all the sound, it's going to play the different videos and all that stuff. So I'm going to go pretty fast here, and you'll have to go all the way to the end of the video. Now that we are done with it, you'll need to click To save this, to convert this into PDF, and personally I would suggest that you save this first. Just save the file somewhere where you can find it, and that way if the computer crashes or something happens in the process of conversion, because that process, it will take a little bit of time, at least you have your recording. Then we click here on File, and then we click on Export, and then we choose Create a Video. Now here under Create a Video, it's asking us as to what do you want the quality to be. Now right now I recorded this on high definition, so it's going to be 1920 by 1080, but I'm going to change it just for the sake of production, to produce this faster. Typically you might want to have it at 1280 by 720 if you're going to share it over the web. And then here it's going to use the recorded timings and narrations, and also it's going to utilize the voice that we had for the recordings when we did them. Now we simply click on Create Video, and now it will ask us where do we want to save it. So I'm going to save it on the desktop here, just as a test, and it's going to be using PowerPoint 2016. I'll click on Save. And now it's saying that this PowerPoint has external media. That means, because I had a couple YouTube videos linked to it, continue without the media, that's saying basically it's not going to be able to download the videos from YouTube. So most of the time you'll most likely not have YouTube videos embedded, but in this case we'll click on Continue without the media from YouTube and other external sources. And then you just need to let it do its thing. Notice the progress bar is going to be here in the bottom, and like I mentioned earlier, depending on how big your PowerPoint is and how much speaking you did, it will take a little time. So you need to be patient and maybe do something else during the time that this is processing. And now after a few minutes the video was produced, and now we can go back here to our folder where I had saved on the desktop under PowerPoint 2016. And now notice we have the MP4 video here. Double click on it, and the video at this point should have this part of the PowerPoint, all the audio. You're going to go from one slide to the other slide, and then the system is recording whatever you do, whatever you say at each end point. It's going to play. So that's how creating an MP4 video from a narrated PowerPoint works in PowerPoint 2016. Hopefully you'll find it helpful. In this brief session, I will demonstrate how to use templates in PowerPoint 2016. In PowerPoint 2016, templates serve not only for the design aspect of the presentation, but also you can utilize the templates as the layout or as outline for your presentation. So here's how they work. When you first open PowerPoint, you'll be presented with something very similar to this. So as soon as you open the application, you'll come to this screen. Now if you are already in PowerPoint, you can click on File and then choose New, and then it will take you to the same starting point as when you open PowerPoint. You can either click on Create a Blank Presentation, or you can utilize one of the existing PowerPoint's templates that exist here. Now, if you notice here, if you go, for example, under the category Education, notice that there are pre-designed templates that you can choose. For example, let's say you wanted to do a certificate, to design a certificate. It is even as simple as this. All you have to do is click on it, and instead of you spending time designing this, all you'd have to do is simply change the name of the student here. The other thing that you can do with templates is that you can go, let's say, under the category here, Education, let's say, and notice there are categories here on the right hand side as well. And let's say that you needed to do an academic presentation of some sort. So you click here on the template, Academic Presentation, and then click on Create. It's going to download it from the web. Now this is with all the types of different designs for it, so it's more design oriented, and basically you would fill in the text. However, in PowerPoint there are also options where you can actually create not only utilize the design, but also you can utilize the outline of your presentation. So you state the vision, you state the goals and objectives, a summary of the current situation, and so on and so on. So basically the layout exists there for you. Enhance it by utilizing the features that we learned in this tutorial in PowerPoint 2016. Notice as you're using templates, you can go and actually search for keywords here. So let's say we are searching here for the term marketing, and now notice that you have different, and there are different designs here on marketing. So for example, there is this one, business sales and service, and then here it's a layout of the aspects of it. So you'd introduce yourself, and then the products and services, give an example, and then include additional examples, maybe include a chart of some sort and diagrams of sorts, and this is using smart art here. And of course, keep in mind that you can tweak those presentations, even though they may not look as visually appealing to you. You have the layout of it, but you can customize it using the features that we learned in this tutorial. So this is a tool that instead of you reinventing the wheel, you can utilize something that already exists and also utilize the knowledge and features that we have covered in PowerPoint 2016 to create a custom slideshow in PowerPoint. So suppose you're a salesperson, or you have created a long slideshow, but then at certain time or to present something. So in that case, you want to have a custom slideshow with only particular slides as part of that presentation. So to set up a custom slideshow, you'd go under the slideshow tab, and then you want to click on custom slideshow. Click on the drop down, and then you want to click on a new slideshow. Now you can name this, and then you want to pick the slides that you want to insert in there to utilize. Now, of course, this does not fit what we are doing here. And then you add those, and then click OK. You could create different ones here. So you could have one, let's say, called here, Custom Slideshow Tips for using PowerPoint. And then let's say you want only those, add them. Click OK. Now you can close this, but if you're on the road then at some point and you want to present to only a specific audience, all you'd have to do is click here on Custom Slideshow, and then you can pick whichever one you want to present. So let's say East Coast Pitch. So here it is, part of the PowerPoint. And that would include only that slideshow for the East Coast. Then if you wanted to go, let's say, as part of this PowerPoint, the big one, we also created one called Tips for Using PowerPoint. Click on it, and now this presentation will just contain those slides. And that's how custom slideshows work in PowerPoint 2016. It is pretty much the same in previous versions as well. In this brief session, I will demonstrate how to insert a screenshot and how to use a screenshot feature in PowerPoint 2016. So there are times where you're designing and working on a project and such, and you want to add part of your screen, whether it's directions or something, to a slide into your presentation. So what you can do is you can go here under the Insert tab, and there is this option for Insert Screenshot. It basically adds a snapshot of a window that is open on your desktop or your document, and it becomes a picture basically entering it in your computer. In this case, what we do is you can click on Add Screenshot, and then you want to choose the option for screen clipping. So you can either take a snapshot of one of the applications that you have opened, or you can do a screen clipping, and you click on it, and now it's giving us a chance to select something from this screen. So if I want to have a screen clipping of how to insert an image or a screenshot on PowerPoint, I could simply select this. I'm clipping part of the screen here, and now notice it inserted it automatically here. You can customize this. Notice you have the design ideas. You can utilize design ideas here and tweak this accordingly. by selecting one of those designs. And additionally, you can use the formatting tools to make this a little fancier. So notice if I use one of those styles here for formatting this snapshot that I captured, I could use the tools above here. So let's suppose I want this one with a shadow border around it. And the other thing that I would suggest that you utilize is if you go here under Insert and then click on Shapes. So you go under Insert and then let's say I want a rectangle here. Okay. And then I want to change the shape here. And then under the Shape Fill, I want to change that so that there is no filling to it. And then for the border, or the outline for it, I can choose so it'll be red so that the audience would kind of see what I was working on. The other thing that you could do here is that under the outline, you could change the weight to make that heavier and such. So now I can copy that same object that I created earlier, and I'll paste it somewhere else here. And let's say that I want to demonstrate to the audience that this is the option that they should click on. Now each one of those you can also animate them if you needed to. So if you were to go under Animations and then say, okay, I want to add animation, I want that to appear, and then I want this other animation item here as well. I want that so that it actually flies in. So I'm under the Animation tab, Fly In, and now when I go to present this, it will show up. This is the captured image that I picked earlier. Now if I click, it highlights this section here, and then if I click again, it will choose a screenshot. That's how the screenshot option works in PowerPoint 2016. In this session, I will demonstrate how to use the Tell Me feature in PowerPoint. This feature is, by the way, available in the other Office applications as well, such as in Word, Excel, and Microsoft Access. There might be times where you're trying to do something in PowerPoint and you don't know where that option is. So here on the next to the menus here on the ribbon, there is this option that says tell me what you want to do, or the Tell Me feature. You just start typing in there and it will just show you how to do specific things. So for example, how to start a presentation, or how to utilize, let's say, add an online video. So you just tap on it and you have here Insert Video and then Online Video. So it kind of tells you, so you want to click on Insert Video and then Online Video. And then this, it basically takes you to that function to perform that specific task. Let's say you're not sure how to do the rehearse timings. So you can just start typing rehearse here, click on rehearse timings, and then it just starts that process automatically to get you there. So it's a very cool feature to utilize. Basically, it's not just giving you directions, but it's giving you the option to perform that specific task. So let's say I want to create a photo album. Just start typing photo and then it'll take you to the photo album option. In this brief session, I will demonstrate how to change the look and feel or the theme for PowerPoint 2016. This process is actually the same to change also in other applications that come with Office 2016. So this is the default look and feel for PowerPoint. If we wanted to change it, we click on File here, and then we go here under Options. Once we go under Options, notice that we have those options right here for the Office theme. Currently it is on colorful, and that is the default. And if we prefer, let's say, dark gray, then click on dark gray and then click OK. Now notice the whole look and feel of the application will change. If we want to change it back, simply go under Options here, and let's take a look at the black theme here. Click OK. and this is how it will look at this point. Then let's also take a look at the white theme, and notice that all the menus and options here will be kind of whitish feel and look to it. And now let's go back here to the colorful feel, which will add kind of the reddish banner here on the top for the actual tabs. So that's how you change the theme in PowerPoint 2016. In this brief presentation, I will demonstrate some of the guidelines related to using PowerPoint effectively. There are a lot of times where a user designs a PowerPoint and there are certain rules that they are not really following, and therefore instead of conveying an effective message to the audience, the presenter is missing the point on how to be effective in their presentation. So here are some guidelines. First, why use PowerPoint? Because PowerPoint is supposed to be a tool to emphasize the message that you're conveying to the audience. If you're trying to sell a car or to sell a product, you want the audience to respond and purchase and be excited about the product, and not necessarily see how well you can do animations. Of course, animations can be effectively used in order for you to convey that message to them. And this works the same way in the classroom and such. 4 steps for a good presentation. Of course, you need to plan it, to plan ahead on what the outline will be, what the content of the presentation will be. Then you need to prepare for it. So basically sit down and find the facts and find the content that you're going to present, and get to know the audience. And then once you have prepared your presentation, you need to practice it. And a good practice makes for a good presentation as well. And then you actually need to present it to the audience. One of the frustrating things is when you are in a presentation and the presenter is turning their back to the audience, and they are not engaging with the audience, but they are reading everything on the screen, and the presentation might have too much text and such. You want to make sure that you are engaging with the audience and you're using and presenting effectively. So here are some guidelines on the design of a presentation. So basically do the outline first, even if you are going to tweak it. The presentation, as I have demonstrated in the video tutorial on PowerPoint 2016, do the outline first, figure out what you're going to present and what the order of your facts is going to be in the presentation. Additionally, keep the words large enough. Of course, as I demonstrated in this tutorials on PowerPoint 2016, I emphasize using graphics and using images such as smart art or other tools. But yet, if you're using text, make sure that the text size is at least 24, size 24, typically 28 or above, but 24 minimum. The other thing is limit the number of words that you put on a page, whether it's bullet points or whether you use paragraphs and such, but try to limit them. There's a rule there called the 7x7 rule. You don't want more than 7 bullets per page, and typically each bullet should have the average of about 7 words in it. Additionally, fancy is not always better. As you can see here in this bullet, you want to stick with simple fonts, content that the users will be able to read from a distance and also be able to remember and such. Remember also color combinations and graphics, and make sure that everything that you utilize in your presentation, it actually has a purpose. And finally, the slides are designed to supplement your presentation and not necessarily be your presentation. And turning your back to the audience and reading from the screen, it's not going to be an effective way to present your presentation to the audience. I hope these tips will help you in effectively utilizing PowerPoint presentations as a tool to convey ideas and to sell the product to your audience and such. And if you have not checked out the full tutorial on PowerPoint 2016, please do so. It is designed so you can utilize the features and the tools that come with PowerPoint effectively in your work, in your career, and whatever you're doing. Thank you again for watching this tutorial, and I hope that it was effective and valuable to you.